Guess I'm here. Huh. Looks like a pretty nice place after all. Shame I spent every penny I had on it. But home's home. Wallpaper's a little dated. Definitely looks like it'll need some furniture though. I guess it'll have to do. Huh. View's a lot better than I expected. Nani?
Waza. So I know you keep trying to get away from me, but I gotta show you this video, man. Like it's like I spent a lot of time on it, and it's just I really want to show you it, and like I got Alice in it. I got I got so much. You don't understand, man. It's like like like
Yeah, I get you. I mean, it's chrome in it though.
no, why crumbs
No?
that? Why would why? I don't know why, but yeah, let me. You'll understand what I put in. Like I'll just put it in now.
Fine, why not?
Yeah, just come join me up here. Yeah.
Oh, alright, what do we got?
Hello, I'm Daffel and also War Game Commander, and I'm Alice. Where is Alice? She's one of the Zeuses of the recent 55th campaign that just finished its final operation, September 17th. And she has given me the pleasure of being able to interview her and ask her a couple of questions about the campaign.
I'm Alice. I've been with the unit for about a year, per take. I do a lot of stuff outside of the unit, and pretty much all it is. Having fun. I've been a Zeus only for about 2 or 3 months, so I'm still kind of getting the ropes, but hopefully I just get better at making missions and building the missions together because that seems to be my strong suit. But yeah, I'm excited to be interviewed, I guess. It hasn't been a long time since I've actually been interviewed and put in a video, so yeah.
I'd like to ask you three sections. I have three sections of questions. I have questions of before the campaign, during the
Mhm.
campaign, and the final mission, also known as probably after the campaign. My first question is, what was the inspiration for the campaign? How did the idea come into place of the plot and location?
Honestly, I kind of wanted to just make something kind of loose. The lore behind it, using the Virlata Salutin. I think that's how it's called. The Warriors of Virlati, or the Soldiers of Virlati. Uh, I just wanted to use something close to Eastern Europe. Trying to that was my intention before, right when I was actually planning this out a little bit before the whole current issue in Ukraine and Russia right now. So at first I didn't really want to do it, but Chrome said, "Hey, you can't let that bother you." So I just went with it. I kind of just put it together in about a week.
A week.
Uh, yeah, I put together the most of the lore and missions in about a week or two. Very not much changed really, except for the inclusion of the ex-NATO people. That
Uh,
was kind of like a
the
on the spot minute. Yeah. The
the were they the ones in the Russian gear, or who were they?
so we had the VS, the Virladen, Saloon, the Finnish soldiers. There are the Finnish insurgents. We had the Kulak 16, which were the Russians, and then I had my own group that I brought up, which was the Black Wolves. Those are the ex NATO guys. They're they're a lot less of them in indiscriminate amount, but hopefully we'll bring those guys back sometime. If not, we'll see. But no, I think the primary inspiration was just how Chrome does everything. All of his lore ties into something else, and I wanted to make a campaign that could be tied into, or tie something into, or use it to tie into something else. It's still my first one. I would say, rough around the edges. It doesn't really have a coherent story behind it.
Storyline.
Yeah, but I think it was okay for a beginner.
That's good to hear about the story. I personally thought it was uh, exceptional enough for the 55th, and it was easy enough to also follow at most of the time. Was there any difficulties adding the campaign story, like this timeline you talk about, to the main 55th timeline? Since the main 55th timeline has all these intertwining stories with all these regions and all these places. Did you find it difficult at all?
I would say at the beginning I was a little stressed out because of trying to figure out how to get it to mix in, but Chrome was really helpful with that. Chrome really does put a lot of effort into making the stories make sense, and he was very helpful in me kind of cleaning up the story, making it a lot more concise and easier to consume by the 55th, I guess you could say. Basically, easier for you guys to actually get into and understand that why you're in Finland, why you're here in Virlati, not just oh, hey, we're going over here to shoot people.
All right, that's good to hear. Yeah. When you were building the missions after the story had been constructed, after all of this, when you were laying out the positions, the sandbags, the vehicles, the enemy troops that would be in the mission, uh, what what did you have in mind? Were you trying to put in certain kill boxes? Were you trying to try and open up the area for 55th members, or what exactly did you have in mind while building the layouts?
So the initial layouts were to kind of give you guys the idea that these guys weren't just regular insurgents or militiamen, that these guys actually had a strategy to them. And I feel that some people kind of caught it early on that, hey, these guys aren't just the normal, throwaway, terrorist people we usually deal with. And I wanted that to be obvious with the way that they defended themselves and how aggressive they were. So for the earlier missions, I did, especially with the VS troops, the troops that were not the Russian ones, I did do the defenses a little more lax, I guess, with a lot more holes. They weren't, properly trained, but I tried to punish the 55ths, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit for this. Their incessant need to just push W on their keyboard.
So like the insistence of constantly pushing forward.
Yeah, a lot of the times, and this is one thing I've always noticed playing both as squad lead, a fire team, and a medic. The operations where we have the most casualties are the ones where we just keep pushing forward without trying to like think up of a good, plan or just doing what we always do and just constantly throwing bodies at something until it breaks. And
Yeah.
with later on, you see that I tried to start making kill zones and kill boxes obvious. Like I tried to make them as obvious as possible to see if people would avoid the quickest but most obvious route to death. And the results have been a mixed bag, I would say. Some of the people who are like veterans or who have a lot of time in the unit very clearly avoid the kill boxes or the kill zones or the obvious death traps, and everyone else kind of just runs in hoping that everything goes well, and it works. I mean, it still works. The way I set up the odds are not supposed to be impossible to complete. They're just supposed to punish bad positioning, bad ideas, and just a clear lack of self-preservation.
So I have two questions based off of that response. The first question is, so overall, you were making this campaign in mind instead of it being more relaxed, more stupid fun kind of stuff. You had it more making the people actually use their minds and think of
Yeah.
these strategies and like open their eyes to the area kind of thing.
Yes, especially since when I was still on the training team during that time, and I was running BCT, I noticed that a lot of times, uh, the the people who I ran through BCT and pushed through the especially the close quarter combat portion, I was very aggressive during those, and I wanted to translate that over in a larger scale of hey, you guys can't just walk through every building for free. It doesn't make sense to it doesn't make sense to me that these guys wouldn't punish an opposing force for just casually wandering through or meandering through a occupied zone. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I feel like that was an issue at times. But then again, I as a Zeus, and I will be honest, I am very aggressive. Sometimes I do zone out and forget that I'm supposed to be Zeusing and just having fun with you guys, and I just completely go a little crazy in the noggin, and I forget that I'm supposed to be just casually having fun shooting people, not playing how I normally play shooters. So I will say that is part of the factor with how I make stuff. I try to make it difficult, but once you start using your noggin, you could get through it. And some people are okay with that. Some people enjoyed. I would just say now in past tense, the increase in difficulty. I guess you could say from the missions. Other people think that I'm doing too much, or that I am being way too aggressive. And I will agree. I think there was times where I was doing way too much controlling AI, but I have been learning to just be a lot more lax with how I do things.
How you like
Though my
control the AI?
yeah,
You mean that?
I control the AI a lot. Yeah, and having to find that balance of me being a threat but not being oppressive or annoying. It's like it's a line that I would say Chrome has mastered very well, where I'm still struggling to find that like sweet spot where you guys are like, oh shit, Alice is here, but not like oh fuck me, Alice is here. I have to go super try hard and kill her and
I see.
get her off the AI instead of like, oh hi, Alice killed me, like what a coincidence. Instead of oh it's Alice, of course it's Alice. Like I've gotten quite a few complaints now, especially recently, and I will say immediately after this defense up, I did get a plethora of accusations of me going way too hard or treating it way too seriously.
Would you
And
say that that would be true, or do you think that the people are overreacting because they haven't had a Zeus like you control the AI to make the 55th actually have to think and competitively fight against them?
I wouldn't say that Chrome doesn't punish people with by doing that same thing where he punishes you for being being mispositioned or being way out of the area or like being away from their people. But I do think that not having a Zeus that is my at my level of aggression did shock. It was like it's like a culture shock almost.
Yeah.
They're used to Chrome only punishing when he has to. I'm punishing people for everything that they do wrong. I feel, and I will say, some people do overreact, saying that oh, you're going on a killing spree, or you're playing Call of Duty while we're playing, Arma. You're trying to PvP, and to that, and I say this in the nicest way, I am not tryharding. I am actually holding back quite a lot when I'm playing with you guys.
Mm. Okay.
I
Uh,
and to add on to that, I don't say it in a point of ego. I'm gonna be straight honest right now. There is no ego when I say I am not doing the best I can because I know I can do better. But the purpose of the operation is for you guys to have fun, to be able to cut through swaths and swaths of enemy combatants. Have some memorable moments, blow up some vehicles. Get that huge oorah at the end when you guys capture a difficult objective, or you get your HVT or take down a target, and that's the whole point. You guys are supposed to. It's supposed to be you guys going in, having your hero moments, your crazy moments, and having fun. And the Zeus are really just there to make sure everything goes as best as it can because it's Arma. Nothing's gonna go perfect. The AI sometimes doesn't want to do what we wanted to do, et cetera, et cetera. And we're really just there to kind of like moderate as well. And did I overstep? I would say I overstepped a lot of what I'm supposed to, not supposed to do. I'm still learning. And to that, I will apologize. Say this now, I am apologizing if I did come off as way too strong of a Zeus this campaign. I'm still learning. It's really hard to unlearn years and years of a playstyle that I'm used to, and learning how to be a lot more lax and just casual. And I do take the criticisms and I do think about them and I pick and choose what makes sense to me and what just seems like okay, this person just wants me to not engage them in any regard. Like, oh, this person just doesn't want me to fight them or have an engagement with them, and I'll respect that. I'll avoid people if I feel like they're not having a good time dealing with me. But otherwise, I'll try to learn from this experience. I'll try to be a lot more passive. I've already decided that I'm probably never gonna really take control of AI again, especially after today, because I'm just kind of just tired of getting a lot of flack.
I'm sorry to hear about that, but hopefully, with if you become a Zeus in another future time, hopefully it'll change with people becoming like, oh, this is why she was doing such. I'm hoping that that hopefully happens in the future. When the first operation happened, the one where Banshee 3 had to assault the land. Banshee 1 and 2 had to approach from the south and assist. And with all the long range combat and the amount of people that were there, were you surprised or were you filled with glee and happiness when you heard in the debrief about all the original 55th members, people like J-Dog, people like Firestorm, all those people saying that that operation was one of the best operations they had ever done?
Uh, I will say I was genuinely surprised. I thought that op was kind of one of the rougher ones, mostly because I didn't know how aggressive I was being and how much damage I was causing. I still think in hindsight, however, that was probably one of the better ops of the entire campaign. It seems that one was like kind of like it kind of was like one of or if not the high point. And while that sounds kind of iffy to say, that one had like the best mix of everything going on. I'm not sure if any other op was at that level because we started having a lot less members after that. We didn't have a Venture 3, I think, after the third or fourth op going on. I would say it was a genuine surprise hearing that many people say it was a good op. I was expecting I was going into it and every op I go into with like the idea that I'm gonna hear mixed results. But yeah, no, I think in hindsight, yeah, it was probably one of the better ones.
That's good. That's good to hear. It's always good to start off a campaign with one of the highest operations. When you got that response, did you did you get a high confidence for the rest of the campaign? Like, did you think that the rest of the operations would be like just as good as the first ones, and the responses would be just as good or even better than the first operation?
No, actually, I thought that it was a fluke. I genuinely thought that people were kind of just saying it because it was a change or like a breath of fresh air after a lot slower, much more calculated, controlled ops, and that the chaos and just the amount of chaos there was and the crazy amount of firefights and the aggression was a welcome change. So I actually kind of expected people to get tired of it very quickly, and I do feel that some people did, seeing how things changed very quickly. But no, I went went to almost every op with the idea of this could be the one that breaks the camel's back. Uh, so no, I always had like a negative outlook right at the beginning.
Uh, I'm sorry to hear about that. Uh, what do you think? Which operation do you think was your best one? With other than the first operation, which one did you like put the most dedication in, and got the most positive results? Because other than the first one, personally, I haven't heard like the same response as the first one. But to you, you must have heard the response if you did an operation very well. So which specific ones do you think those were?
I would say The second op was also very well liked. A lot of people enjoyed that one.
Was that
The second one was when you guys assaulted the Western Airfield with the LAV. I know for a fact that one was well received due to the difficulty. Though I did get some. That was the start of the complaints of me being too aggressive because of the hallway incident. TM trademark, by the way, it's mine.
was the hallway incident the one where 55th members were being massacred because it was a straightaway and they had no cover?
Yes.
Do you think if you could go back to that mission, do you think you would have done that hallway differently, or do you think you would have done the same thing?
Honestly, there was a lot of I threw smoke like an idiot, and that kind of increased the lethality of it since I didn't know where I was aiming, and I also was technically aiming at chest head level. I did try to throw. I also did a lot of recoil control there and basically beamed bullets down that hallway. So
Mm.
I would say I could have done it better by just hip firing a lot more or aiming more at the ceiling or just tap firing instead of full autoing, or just not shooting in the hallway at all. But at the same time, it wouldn't have brought about the discussion of, hey, let's not just walk down a hallway. Because a lot of people said that the people who died in there, it was their fault for being in a long hallway of no cover, not trying to be near a doorway to get out of the hallway. And you can't blame us, the Zeuses, for just doing what anyone else would do in that situation, which would be the full auto hallway with a bunch of people in it. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Uh, Half of me says, yeah, it was pretty funny. Haha, 55th, walking down a hallway, get beamed. And the other half of me is like, fuck, dude, like, I didn't have to do that.
I
It
see what you mean.
wasn't necessary. I could have just threw smoke and walked off and like fucked to someone else. But I chose to just shoot down the hallway full auto.
Um, with the next question kind of bounces off this. While the campaign was going on, what mission do you think received the worst feedback? Like there was a lot of complaints for it. People didn't have fun. Everyone was upset at the end. Cause it doesn't need to go to that extreme, but the disliking of a mission, which one was the most of that? Do you think? Which
I
mission?
actually have a few of those that I feel like were all the worst, given the reactions. I would say the last two missions that I made and the one before that where you guys captured Tressian. No, not Tressian. Zalmir, the one with all the snipers. That one was one that not people did not like.
Was that the one with the Grenadier incident with the
No.
helicopter at the end? Uh,
Oh yes, that was the one with the helicopter. Get no. Which one are you talking about?
well, that one with the helicopter Grenadier incident, that was the one where Banshee 1 and 2 had to uh, go up from a long straightaway, hit a camp, hit a second camp, then get to an island, capture someone, helicopter them away.
Yes, that was Zalmir. Yeah.
Uh, so you think that one was the one that received the worst feedback out of all the other operations?
I want to say the worst. Some people enjoyed hunting the snipers and hunting me down. Other people said that I was being too accurate. Once again, mixed bag. I feel like I was letting a lot of people live by constantly shooting at the trees around them, far above their heads, or at the ground several meters before them. And if someone just stands still scanning while getting shot by a sniper, like I personally would immediately try to find cover away from where the bullet is coming from. But that's just me. I will say the mission where you guys went into that factory was also not very well liked, especially for Banshee 1. Banshee 1 had it very rough. It just was not a good op for them. They had a lot of things to say to me as well. And I can't really blame them. I was very aggressive during that one. I was also doing some very sneaky beaky mean stuff, holding very, very mean angles. And once again, that's my fault, not theirs. I forget, I get in the zone, and I look for the most efficient and optimal way to take someone down in the video game because that's how I think. and people are probably going to hear that, watch his interview, and think, "Oh, there she is, being a egotistical cunt." But that's just how I think, just hardwired into my brain. Beyond that, I think he was either one of those two. I think the defense op was very well liked, surprisingly, and I think that the last op of the was very brutal, very frustrating. But a lot of people thought it was a great climax to a very increasingly frustrating turn of events during the whole campaign.
I do also think it was a very well climax, and it was a very a big note to go off of, especially with all the ups and downs of the other missions. Would you like to say anything else about any other badly received missions, or would you like to move on to the next question?
I would say shout out to the third mission when I accidentally murdered half of Banshee 1 with a mortar because I set the spread to 5, not 50.
Oh God.
So several people got fucking turned into red mist by mortars that came out faster than I expected. And that's when I learned to actually check at what I type before I hit enter because people will die.
So a good learning there for that
Yes.
mistake.
Yeah, no, that was like a very big oh fuck moment for me. I had a few more oh fuck moments, but they weren't as funny or as hated as that one because that one was just genuinely very funny. That I just saw a bunch of mortars fly out, and I was like, oh okay.
Would you be
And
polite as to name one of them, at least, that you would like to share?
The grenade incident, the same mission where I took out half of Banshee 2, I believe, with a grenade. I thought most of them were still alive or just, like hurt. I went in and accidentally squad wiped, and I still feel very shitty about it. And people will always remind me that I fucked up on that one, and I agree. They could have
Uh,
played that one out a lot better. Another one I would say would be the snipers. Some of them, sometimes using the snipers,
too accurate?
yeah, I get a little too into sniping. Favorite thing to do. I forget that I'm supposed to be nice, and I go cuckoo cuckoo.
Did you have any instant where you had to change a plan or a mission at quote unquote the last minute or last moment, like a week out before the operation had happened? Had that happened at all during the
Like,
campaign?
like if I had to update a mission because of something.
Like if story wise or if mechanically wise, you would have to update the mission or
Yes,
change it.
yes, mechanically. The fourth one, which is when you guys got to assault that big city and save Monroe, God rest his soul, because Woodstock noob tubed them. Uh, you guys actually avoided. No, I was during the op. I would say I changed it up to include Monroe and had to plan around Monroe being captured. So that was a welcome, little change. Like last minute, I was like, oh shit, like yeah, Monroe's captured. What are we gonna do here? You know, we set them up in a building, got that building populated, out of the port as an objective, etc., etc.
Would you say that that was like a kind of a good change that you
Yeah,
did
it made it
there?
fun until Monroe got noob tubed.
God rest his soul.
And then for the last stop, the assault on the city of Irajoki, uh, you guys are actually going to bypass more than half of the, or like about half of the forces in the city with the route, with like the whole zone you guys were going to push into under Bloom. So I actually went back after seeing you guys formulate the plan and operations plan. And it sounds kind of scummy, but I shifted over like 75% of that half over
Wow.
to the suburbs and then spread them out. Those guys you guys were engaging at the bridge were like the supposed to be the back end of the defenses there. That bridge where I nuked that Humvee from the apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was supposed to be like where you guys were supposed to push through, or I was hoping you guys would push through. Obviously, you did it, and that kind of
Mm.
fucked up my plans for that whole side. So I had to move stuff around. I also reinforced some of those buildings and streets a bit more, trying to make more funnels or fatal funnels. and kill zones. Beyond that, really, I don't think any mission I updated or changed in regards to like on the spot. Anything, all of them were just kind of put together. I changed what I needed to in game, but most of those changes were like, oh, I'm just move this squad over here just to reinforce this because you guys are carving through this objective a little too quick. Stuff like that. Nothing serious besides those small changes or those major changes, I should say, for those ops.
When you saw the calendar and you saw that number ticking down of the missions, you won the third mission, second mission, and you knew the last mission was coming up before the bonus mission. How were you? What were your feelings? Were you excited? Were you sad that you were not going to Zeus anymore? Were you happy that you were going to finally get a break? What were your feelings about that?
It was a mix of feelings, if I'll be honest. Kind of happy that I'm getting a little bit of a mental break because honestly, shit does get frustrating. It does get frustrating having to Zeus at times. Some people don't understand that stuff doesn't always go right, even if we try to plan for it, and we're not able to fix everything. I'm pretty sure people are going to be very grateful. Some people are going to be very grateful that I am no longer making a campaign or the plans or being a Zeus all time now or the whole time now. So it's a welcome break for those people. I'm a little disappointed. I feel like in hindsight, I could have made many more better changes to the operations as a whole, taking more time with some of them and not being as aggressive. But it is what it is. I would say it has to come from this op where Chrome decided to ram several planes into the into the church. Yeah, there were a lot of funny moments like that. I would say there was plenty of moments where people just made me laugh because of some of the things they were doing, or uh, really just just really dumb stuff that would happen because of Arma. So I can't specifically say one moment in particular was my favorite. I would say like quite a few moments were my favorite.
While the final mission was happening, when everything was going how it should be, everyone was fighting however it wanted, and you guys were spotting people. What were you thinking in your head? Like, whether you were thinking about how to make this final mission fun, or you were thinking about what would happen after this was done. What was going through your head?
Same thing, mixed emotions. I put a lot of effort into that last mission to make it difficult but fun, or hopefully fun, I should say. At the same time, I was trying to give it a nice extra little flair. I wanted it to be an op that you guys would honestly, and I know this sounds kind of weird, but I kind of figured you guys would probably hate it because of the difficulty and just how rough it would feel to be engaging the the town of Urajoki, but at the same time, I felt you guys would respect the fact that it's supposed to be hard. It wouldn't make sense for you guys to just wander in and kill the dude in like an hour tops.
How was working with Chrome? Did you like working with him? Did you have good communication? Did you guys work a lot together in creating missions, or was it one-sided for one of you guys?
I would say it was more of a teacher student kind of deal where I was uh, kind of like learning the ropes while he kind of like corrected me for anything I did a little too roughly or stuff that I didn't do correctly. Beyond that, no, I would say we did pretty well together. I would say he probably has a lot more synergy with Type, seeing that they are much better friends. Though I will say that when me and Chrome had things, we were kind of in sync a few times. Stuff which is going really fucking well. Very easy to get along with him, uh, and he's always trying to help you out, trying to help you, make sure that things are going right, okay. Uh, that you're understanding what's supposed to be going on. If you're going too hard, going too soft, this, and that. Like you don't think Chrome's a good Zeus, go somewhere else because he is very talented when it comes to that. I'm not kissing ass or anything. I'm just saying that people should have a lot more patience because clearly I'm not a good Zeus, and he very much is because he has the loads of experience. He knows a bunch of tricks and shit, and I'm still learning. So, but yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say. Unless there's any more questions.
I only have one more question, and after this, we can do your final notes you would like to say to everybody. If all of a sudden you were you were transported back to a year ago, or maybe 2 years ago, before the concept of this had been made yet. You had the knowledge that you could make this at this time. Would you not take that chance? Would you let this opportunity go and let someone else Zeus? Or would you take that opportunity to try and create something bigger and better than what you uh, could have done?
Oh, much better. I would actually know how to be a better Zeus. I wouldn't be going gun ho and guns blazing everywhere. You know, in hindsight, I still could have done that a lot of times, but it's really hard to shake the mechanics, I guess you could say. So who knows? I probably would have done just as bad or maybe better, and I probably would have improved the mission flow a bit more, made them a lot more coherent, easier to digest, and much more fun. Because I feel like some missions just needed that extra oomph to kind of compete with the first one. If all the missions had the quality and the fun level of the first one, I think this would have been probably one of the better campaigns in the 55th.
Okay. So, if I am to understand this campaign correctly, it started off on a very high note with a lot of people hopeful for it and a lot of people very intrigued and interested in such of a Zeusing type of how you were more aggressive, more punishing than Chrome type or any other Zeus in the past. But with the second mission, a lot of people started to realize that they weren't enjoying such a Zeus type of a style, that they didn't want the constant aggression. They wanted to have it more relaxed, calling you a Call of Duty player while they're playing Arma. And as the campaign went on, people started to either very much like the campaign with the liking the aggression, liking your way, or people disliked how you were controlling people. They thought you were doing it consistently. They thought you were, like I said, playing Call of Duty while they're playing Arma 3. And with the final mission, you think that a lot of people are breathing a sigh of relief that they don't need to have you as a Zeus anymore, that they're now getting a new campaign and they are getting Chrome back as the main Zeus. Do you think this is correct?
Yeah, I would say people are going to be a lot happier with Chrome as the main Zeus. Much more experience, knows what he's doing. There will be times where me and or type will be co-Zeusing. I'm pretty sure there's always going to be a co-Zeus. We might get swapped off. We might be alternating. Who knows? I don't know. That's up to Chrome. Probably will go back to the stand to type, as his standard second Zeus. And I completely agree. That would be fairly fine. I'm not gonna get upset or like, oh man, why can't I use? I'm not gonna care if Chrome needs me. He needs me. If he wants type more, that's perfectly fine. Like that's kind of the point of there being a Zeus team. Yeah, it's really up to how Chrome needs us and what he prefers for a different op. Let's say he wants an op to be more aggressive or to have the enemy forces be very, very pushy, very aggressive. Then sure, I'll hit me up. If he wants a standard affair of a lot more casual, much more relaxed, but still difficult op, then he can go with type. Let's be honest. Both Zeuses, where all three of us can be hyper aggressive if we really want to. But at the end of the day, that's not the point. We're supposed to let you guys have the fun and do what you need to do to blow our ops away into smithereens.
Would
Uh,
you would you like to say anything for like anyone else, like a final note, like a message to say? Would you like to say anything?
if you have interest in making an op, make it better than mine, and do not Zeus like me because it wouldn't work. First off, and second off, do not Zeus like me because it is a terrible way of Zeusing.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have. That's all the time we have. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you, Alice, very much for having this interview with me, and I hope the best for you for going back as an infantry in the 55th unit. I hope you have the best